Can I describe the building? There's nothing to describe. It's gone. It's, again, it's the most devastating scene that I've seen in my career.
And we continue to follow devastating news in Hickman County. 19 people still unaccounted for. An explosion at an explosive manufacturing plant there is the source of all this. This is WSMV 4 at 5 o'clock. I'm Tracy Cornett.
I'm Amber Jayanth, and we are bringing you live team coverage tonight. Our Lauren Lowry is live tonight in Hickman County with the very latest. And Lauren, this press conference just wrapped up. A lot of questions, but still this came as quite a shock this morning.
No question. And people could feel this as far as 3 counties away. You know, you go 20 miles even, and people were saying, I felt the reverberation of this explosion. We still don't know how many people are dead. We know 19 people are missing. We still believe somewhere between 4 and 5 people are in a hospital. One of the things we just learned, 2 notes that I found to be particularly interesting in that presser that just wrapped up. Number 1, the debris field could be anywhere between half a mile to a mile away from the site of this explosion. And number 2, they were dealing with chemicals, so there have been chemists on site. That's in addition to the ATF, to the FBI, and all of the state agencies that go along with this. So, look, we've been out here all day bringing you team coverage. And I want to go to our Dryden Quigley, who has been speaking with people today about what they've heard and seen. Dryden.
Lauren, you were just talking about this debris field, and we actually talked with someone who was driving down the road. He said he was about half a mile away from where this building was. That's when he thought that a tree fell on the back of his car. That's how much their car shook. But he looked up and saw this big black plume of smoke, and he said that's when he realized that it might have been an explosion. He also said something that really stuck with me. He said he saw dead birds falling out of the sky. So that's just how big this explosion was, and all this debris that, again, the sheriff said could be seen from between half a mile to a mile away. This man we talked with also, he said unfortunately he learned this afternoon that his family friends, he believes, are one of the people who did not make it. So we're keeping him and all of those who are still unaccounted for in our prayers tonight. Take a listen to what he had to say.
We noticed a great big huge black cloud, and then as we were getting closer to accurate arms, we were only like maybe a mile from where it happened, and as we got closer you could see like dead birds in the road and insulation.
And he was obviously impacted both because he saw this happen and he lost a friend as well. And he says that's going to be the case for a lot of people here. This is one of the largest employers in the county, so a lot of people are going to be touched by those who are still missing, either a friend or neighbor of some sort. So again, keeping all of them in our prayers, even though we don't know if they're just unaccounted for, hoping that some are in the hospital or somewhere that just haven't been accounted for yet. Lauren.
Okay, Dryden, thank you so much. I want to bring in our Jordan James into this conversation right now. Jordan, you've been out all day long. You've now seen 3 different news conferences. What stood out to you with this one?
I would have to say, like, the more news conference we have, you can really see the emotion that's on the sheriff's face. Our photojournalist asked him about what has this been like for you, and he said, it's been hell. It's been hell, and he took a moment to just reflect on the devastating scene that first responders have found. Like we've been saying, at this point in time, we know that at least 19 people are missing, and at least 3 to 4 or 5 people were taken to the hospital. Investigators are still trying to determine if anyone has passed away, but I can tell you it certainly is an all-hands-on-deck initiative. Law enforcement agencies from all across the region have been here on this scene. A little bit earlier today, we spoke with a man at a gas station who told me he felt the explosion. First, he didn't know what it was. He went out to his front yard, saw everything intact, and then he later would realize that it happened here right behind me. Another man told me that he was out duck hunting and literally felt the ground shake. And
wow.
Despite that, he rushed to this scene and tried to figure out any way that he can help out. And I really do think that attests to the community. The sheriff said it's a close-knit community. Many of the workers here know one another, seen each other grow up. So that's why this devastation has really struck a chord with several folks in this community.
Yeah, Jordan, thank you. And of course, Jordan's coverage continues, as does our team coverage here tonight. One of the things that our Stacey Cameron, a member of our investigative unit, he's been looking into the chemical compounds that are being manufactured here. And we're learning more about the types of chemicals that are being made on this plant. And so Stacey has more on the answers to the questions we've been asking around chemicals.
Well, that's right, Lauren. You know, we're learning a lot about the chemicals here. That plant, they make several explosives. They process them there. And a number of the chemicals used in that process are volatile. Those chemicals used for both military and private commercial explosive. And it includes things commonly known as TNT and C4. But there's two chemicals we've discovered at that plant through federal records that are extremely volatile in the event of an explosion or fire. One is called tritonol. That's a mixture of TNT and aluminum powder. And according to safety data sheet from 2015, tritonol has been manufactured at that plant in the past. The EPA warns against using water to fight a chemical involving or fire involving tritonol, because when that aluminum powder I mentioned mixes with water, it can create a highly explosive hydrogen gas. Another chemical we've identified at this plant is cyclonite. We found that in OSHA reports dating back to 2019. It is located there, and in case of a fire, there's a high risk of cyclonite exploding, and the EPA cautions against trying to fight any fire involving either of those chemicals, saying it's better to evacuate the area instead. And cyclonite also poses a risk of toxic fumes in a fire. Now, Sheriff Davis mentioned that they don't know what the cause of that explosion was today, but he did mention that they have chemists out there at that plant right now making sure that they can work safely around it, and that's because of the likelihood of another explosion, possibly a fire, and the toxicity of those chemicals. We'll keep digging into what's at that plant and try to see if they had any factor in the deadly explosion. Lauren?
Okay, Stacey, thanks so much. Of course, we're going to stay out here live and continue to bring you team coverage as more information becomes available. We'll bring it to you on air and online.
Thank you, Lauren. Also, we know the impact of this blast was so severe that it was captured on our weather radar.
First Alert meteorologist Dan Thomas is here to explain further here.
Yeah, that's right. It's just incredible that this First Alert live radar we talk about whenever there are storms, based out of Nolensville, scanning all across Middle Tennessee, was able to see this. But we heard about the black smoke that erupted from this massive explosion at 7:45 this morning. And just 3 minutes later, right here in the Hickman-Humphreys County line, you can see the radar signatures. So there was no rain. There were very few clouds, if any, in the area at that time. And that little black cloud of smoke lifted toward the north, and probably even some debris, and caused that reflection on the radar. Now, here's the radar site out of Nolensville in northeast Williamson County. So this thing was 55 miles from the site of the explosion, and it was scanning in the atmosphere just a mile above the ground, about 4,000 feet up, and all this was detected because of that explosion this morning. Tracy?
Really something. Dan Thomas, thank you.